Careblazer, if you have ever struggled with guilt and caregiving, then today's video is for you. I recently, over on my Instagram channel, posted a question that said, what's the most ridiculous thing you have ever felt guilty about? And we got over 100 comments of Careblazers from all over the world sharing things they felt guilty about that looking back on, it feels ridiculous to have felt guilt about it, but we do. And we often feel guilt about so many ridiculous things. We just don't recognize it as ridiculous in the moment. So I'm going to share some of these comments. And if you're not following me over on Instagram, you might want to consider doing that for more quick, short little tips and connection with audience members. But what I would love to do is share some of these comments and then talk through from the psychology and the science side about what makes it ridiculous. Now, in all honesty, I am a clinical psychologist. Our feelings are not ridiculous. They are real. They are valid. However, we have to start to question a lot about what's going through our mind if we want to feel better. If you want to feel less guilt, we're going to have to catch our brains when it's being a bully and when it's having certain thoughts that looking back on, we realize are ridiculous. Or if a friend, somebody we loved, told us that, we would absolutely tell them, there's nothing to be ashamed of here. There's nothing to be guilty about here. You did the right thing. So let me just dive in with the very first comment. This Careblazer said she felt guilty because I had to stop my dad from driving. Every single person with dementia at some point will have to stop driving because they are unsafe. If we allowed every single person with dementia to drive when they wanted to, we would literally be putting their life in danger and everybody else's lives on the road in danger. Get this, it is a horrible goal to make your loved one with dementia happy with you all the time. Of course, we want to make them happy and have a great quality of life as much as we can. However, a sign of a really amazing Careblazer is that from time to time, they might get upset with you because you have their safety in mind when they don't think there's a safety issue. So the fact, literally, this Careblazer is protecting her dad's life and the lives of other people on the road, yet she felt guilty about it. Thinking I'm burdening my family members for helping me out even though I need a break. So it's okay if we burden ourselves and if we don't take breaks and we run ourselves into the ground. But the minute we accept help from somebody else or ask other family member for help, all of a sudden we feel guilty. Just realize, looking back on it and thinking through it, how ridiculous that sounds. It's impossible for one person day in and day out, 24/7 for years at a time to be caring for somebody with dementia like this and to think they're not going to want a break or need a break. Also, one thing I want to point out about this one is that she's saying, thinking I'm burdening my family. So this is a really key important part that all of my Care Collective members will know, but I want to share it with you. Our feelings, so in this case, we're talking about guilt. Guilt is a feeling. Our feelings are always caused by our thinking. It's not the situation. And so that's a video for another time. But the fact that this Careblazer said, I'm burdening my family, that's what caused her to feel guilt, not the fact that she asked her family for help. So we have to be careful about the thoughts in our mind. This Careblazer said, my husband loves music. I was invited to a concert and I went by myself. I needed time to dance and have some fun. She felt guilty for taking time to do something she loved because she knew her husband with dementia, who wasn't able to go, would have also loved it. Here's a big message. Depriving yourself of opportunities for joy will not take away your loved one's dementia, won't make them any better, and if anything, it will make caregiving harder. So of course, it's totally okay if you get that rare opportunity to do something you love, to do it, even if your loved one can't, even if they would have loved it. Oh my gosh, this one. Going to my own doctor's appointment. Feeling guilty for going to your own doctor's appointment, which is prioritizing your health, which you are the person giving the main care to your loved one with dementia. Doesn't it make sense we would want to care for ourselves and make sure we're in as good of health as possible so that we can continue to care for our loved ones with dementia? Do you know that many dementia caregivers are at a higher risk of passing away before their loved one with dementia simply because of how hard and exhausting and grueling it can be? It's totally okay to go to our own doctor's appointments. Now, notice as I'm going through these, and I'm just going to start listing some off quicker now without my thoughts, but as I read these, notice how you might be able to acknowledge, yeah, that person shouldn't feel guilty about it. We can easily see it in somebody else, but when it comes to us and we're doing it, all of a sudden we have that guilt. So that I will come back to at the very end when I give you a 10-second clip on how to reduce your guilt significantly. All right, let me just read a few more of these comments. Feeling guilty about time for myself and arranging for help or respite care. For not being there when she fell in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh. For enjoying my time and living my life when I'm not with her. Taking too long in the bathroom because sometimes I just need a minute. For mourning and missing my mom even while she was alive. Guilty for wanting him gone. I'm tired. He's had enough. Dear Lord, when will this be over? I actually did a video years ago on if you are somebody who's had the thought that you wish this would be over. I'll make sure to link it here so you can catch that video if you can relate. In fact, can you relate to some of these comments? Let me know below if any of these sound like something you have struggled with, or put in the comments below what you have felt guilty about that looking back on you realize, wow, there was no need to feel guilty about that. I feel guilty for getting up on a Saturday morning and getting coffee and watching Dateline instead of going to see my mom. I go every other day. Guilt, guilt, guilt. For having my husband taken to the emergency room when he was sick, he had sepsis, and signing for the emergency surgery that night. He needed it, but he blamed me for being in the hospital. For craving alone time in a hotel room with nothing to do. For enjoying a break. My husband loves Diet Coke. It's literally his favorite thing in the world. But because of an issue with his body's inability to regulate sodium levels, I have to restrict his fluid intake, which means he can only have one Diet Coke per day. Feeling guilty for going on vacation. Seeing my husband sleeping on the couch during the day, thinking I should provide a more stimulating atmosphere for him. For not visiting every single day when I'm at work. And I'll end with my example. I felt guilty for not letting my dad spend $20,000 on starting a t-shirt company that he was so excited to start and thought for sure they were going to be amazing. Careblazer, when we hear some of these comments, I am sure you can relate. If somebody was telling you, if another Careblazer or somebody you loved was in front of you and telling you these circumstances, you would absolutely be there to support them and tell them there's nothing to be guilty about here. You're making the right decision. You're human. You need a break. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to recharge, do something you enjoy. All of these things you would tell somebody you loved. Yet when they happen to us, we still feel the guilt. So number one, we can just understand that's going to be something that happens and we just accept it as part of the situation. We don't actually have to make it mean that we're a bad Careblazer or we've done something wrong. But what I would encourage you to do, this little 10-second test, is that the next time you notice you feel guilty is to ask yourself, what would you literally tell somebody you loved if they were in the same situation, and tell yourself that same exact thing. We can be the best, most supportive friends to people we love, yet we can be the harshest, most cruel critic to ourselves. We need love and care and grace and compassion too. And the best person to give that to you is going to be yourself. It's nice if we can get it from other places, but we have to learn how to give ourselves that same grace. Careblazers, if you have not already, I have created a 60+ page Careblazer survival guide where I walk through my best tips and strategies, and I go over in more detail that connection between your thought and the feeling. It's always a thought that's creating our feeling. It's always something you're thinking that's causing you to feel guilty. Usually a thought like, I shouldn't have done that, I should know better, I should be a better caregiver. All of these things, that's what's creating our guilt. And the best news is we do have the power and ability to change our thoughts if we want to. If you want to feel better, it literally starts with changing what we're telling ourselves in our mind. I hope that this video helps you. I hope that you can see that you are not alone in how you feel and what you have felt guilty for. Take some moments to go through the comments below this video. If you see a Careblazer shared something that they felt guilty about or still feel guilty about, take a moment to leave a word of support and encouragement to them. And if you'd like a word of support and encouragement, feel free to leave a situation where you have felt guilt, and we would love to do that in return. I am sending you so much love. Again, you can follow me over on Instagram if you're into that kind of thing, where I post these little short video clips and get lots of feedback from the community. Be back next week. Bye.
Also, Nico gets a belly rub for every person who subscribes from this video. So if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button. It's totally free, and Nico says thank you very much.